10 miles north of the ruins of Zentelkeep, an impossible man walks. His shape fluctuates with every step. Energy crackles from his fingertips as he laughs and cries with every breath. Ever since he became fused with a shard from the Staff of Seraphim, his body and mind have twisted beyond all recognition. As he turns towards the two figures fleeing behind a collapsed bridge, his eyes begin to glow.
What was that coming out of his eyes? Was that lightning?
I mean, it was also coming out of his mouth and a little bit of his ears, too.
Face lightning. Got it. What's the plan?
I don't think there is one. We can't beat him. You've thrown your most powerful spells, and it hasn't even touched him. The shard is just too much.
We have to stop it. We're the only ones who can. If he reaches Zentel's folly, he'll wipe out all of the refugees.
All right, Princess. Instead of a direct attack, make an illusion of us running to the east. When he turns, I'll try to reach the shard and cut it out.
That's insane. You'll be dead in 5 paces.
Maybe, maybe not. We barbarians are good at taking a beating.
All right, Princess.
I told you not to call me that.
And that's exactly why I do it, sister. Be safe, Merezi.
And you, Alviana. Mother, I remember your teachings. I remember your spear. And I remember your rage. May the Mugrabi clan be with me in battle.
Chafing Armor Podcast, Episode 12. The Archivist Revealed. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and lovable Dungeon Master, Michael. And with me tonight, not playing Merezi, is Izzy. Izzy, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Hello everyone, my name is Izzy. Today I have a cold that's affecting my throat, which was a really fun day to be Merezi again. And I'm playing Gideon, the guy with the way simpler, but also way less fun voice.
And not playing Princess Alviana from the first Chafing Armor campaign is Riley. Riley, tell us who you will be playing.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Torrent Wobbletail, a Tempest cleric Axolotl.
And not playing narrator is Dare. Dare, tell us who you will be playing.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Dare, and I am playing Jack Hasenpfefffer, a alchemist artificer, who happens to be a Fey rabbit folk. Harengon, for those of you that in the know.
If you know, you know. And not playing, sir, not appearing in this cold opening, is James. James, tell us who you'll be playing.
Hello, everyone. I am James, and I am playing Lexicon, the warforged bard.
Our players have gone through hell. Well, maybe not quite hell, but they're getting there. They have started out at an inn, journeyed across the gaping maw, fought the undead, slid across pits of doom, nearly been drowned out of the water by a water weird, only to finally make their way into a secret tunnel opened only by a rusty key provided by Gideon. There they found themselves along with the strange little imp Tercio, who claims that this is his home. As you walk inside, you are surrounded by thousands, uncounted scrolls and books, but especially scrolls, in a beautiful library-like setting with vaulted ceilings and deep, rich wood and archways running off farther than your eye can see. And that's when you hear a voice from the railing above you as it says, "Welcome, one and all. Enter freely and unafraid. This is the archive, and I am the archivist." And as you all look up, you see a figure looking down at you. But before he says anything else, he lifts a finger gently and points it directly at you, Torrent. And he says, "May I make a slight request? Torrent Wobbletail, would you please leave your holy water at the door? It is somewhat disagreeable to my kind."
I suppose I'll get it back afterwards.
Absolutely. I assure you I will not touch it. You will be more than welcome to take it upon leaving. Now, I do want to say one quick thing, Jack. You also have holy water. You don't know if he knows that, but I'm just letting you know that you are very aware of that. So anyway, it might just be because she's a cleric. He knows that she has it. You don't know. What would you like to do, Torrent?
I will set it right against the wall out of the way.
And he kind of claps his hands together. He's up basically about 2 stories up, what would be equivalent of 2 stories. He is a very tall, thin humanoid. From a distance, you would take him as an elf. He has slightly pointed ears. He has a shock of iron gray hair that's just a little shaggy, but very well maintained. He has the look of a librarian. There's even a small reading glasses perched on his slightly sharp nose. But that's where the resemblance to the elf ends. He also has some ever so slightly curving red horns coming out of his hair, a small but not insignificant pointed red tail gently waves from behind him, and not quite comically, but definitely too small for flight, he has a small pair of bat-like reddish wings on his back that are poking out of his brocaded black vest. And he says, "I am the archivist. If you wish, you can call me Ash. But before we do anything else," and he reaches down below, and he comes up, and he has a bowl, of all things. It is a encrusted with jewels bowl, and he takes it and just gives it a slight spin, and it begins to slowly rotate in the air, slowly going down as if it was affected by feather fall, going down to a table that is between you and him. The second it touches the table, boom, is covered in a white tablecloth, and a soft glow begins to cover the table. And he says, that will take a few moments. We can speak before refreshments are served. And he steps off the railing, and much like the bowl, just slowly floats down to all of you. His wings are flapping, but just almost lazily. They're clearly not what's holding him up. And he takes a moment to look to one to the other, and then he looks directly at you, Gideon. And he says, "I must thank you for keeping an eye on Tercio."
It was my pleasure.
I assure you the pleasure was all mine. And at that moment, Jack, you sense a presence at your feet.
Jack looks around and looks down, and
how tall again?
Is 4 foot tall at the top of his head, with another foot of ear.
So easily, not quite, but at its apex, it's almost 2 feet tall at its hump. So the first thing you think when you see it is like a giant toad, like a very ugly toad, is the first thing you think when you see this creature. But what you realize, especially having seen Tercio just moments before, is this is actually some kind of imp. But you've never seen or heard of an imp like this before. It is rotund. Its teeny tiny little wings clearly could not make it fly. And it has these giant bulbous eyes, and both of them are very deliberately pointing in different directions. And one of them turns and looks at you, and it opens its mouth and goes, "Screw that!"
Jack takes a very large, quick step back and says, "Bless you."
It turns that eye away, turns the other eye towards you, and it takes a couple of steps towards you, and that's when you realize, oh, its arms are wrong. You have seen thousands of toads in your day, being out in nature, and toads have those little squat forearms. Its arms are about twice as long as like what a typical imp's would be. And they seem to have like an extra joint on them. And it has 4 fingers, but each one is pointing in an opposite direction of the other 2. And it has 2 thumbs on each side, forming like this bizarre circle that it has like planted on the ground as it walks towards you with these bizarre arms and says, "Screw it!"
And Jack takes a quick look around, and how much room is behind him and the wall or the door?
There is, if you're backing towards the door, there's not much room. If you want to try to turn away, there's hundreds of feet. If you want to try to move like further into this archive.
Jack will move around on the other side of Torrent.
Okay. It stops when it gets to you, Torrent, and for just a moment, both of the eyes lock on you, and one more time it goes, "Screw it!"
Oh!
I do apologize. He has not seen... he has not seen many other people before, and he is curious. Let me tell you, have you ever heard the rumor that there was a mad mage that created bugbears? Well, let me tell you, he does good work, because he made little Scribbit here for me, and he is very useful. Now, speaking of which...
Excuse me, sir.
Sir. Yes, yes, Mr. Jack. It's Hasenpfeffer, is it not?
Yes, Hasenpfeffer. It's a family name.
Hasenpfeffer. Yes. I've only seen it written.
What does he do?
Oh, this is perfect. I can show you. And he snaps twice, and he says, "In fact, there's a meeting that I've been putting off so that I could say hello to you, but we'll take care of that right now. Come, I'll show you." And he motions for all of you to follow him. Does anyone not follow him or do anything else?
Jack will follow along behind Torrent and, makes the act of just loosening his squirt gun off of his shoulder, not to be obvious, but not to be unobvious about it.
Lexicon will follow, but he's also going to access his inner knowledge and see if he can pinpoint what kind of devil this guy is, if at all possible.
Sure. Give me that roll. I would love.
Would that be history, religion?
I would definitely put this more history than religion.
That's good. That is a 17.
17. Well, you sense this is not your knowledge. You sense that he is very powerful. There's something about him that is clearly very, very powerful. There is... You're not quite sure if it's just this random mote of memory or something, but you have a feeling that you have heard of the archivist before now that you are interacting with him.
Okay.
It's kind of like the way, once you smell something, suddenly it triggers a memory.
Sure.
Seeing him is triggering this. And this is the part that you get with the 17. you believe that he serves one of the more powerful devils. That he is not his own master.
Okay.
That's about the best you're able to get with a 17. You would actually have to roll even higher than that, because he is a fairly obscure character.
Okay.
And as y'all walk forward, there is this... as you come around a corner, there is an area that's kind of separated. There are no scrolls right near it. There are scrolls everywhere. You could reach out and touch scrolls like everywhere you go here. But in this area, it's kind of open, and there is a circular stone area, almost like, I don't know, a summoning circle, something like that. And there's a slight glow to like a jewel set in the top. And he says, all right, come through, come on. And he gestures, and something appears in the circle. And I mentioned how this scribbit thing was kind of upsetting. None of you, I need every single one of you to give me a saving throw, a willpower saving throw.
Or
indeed, perhaps a... I'm going to get
Wisdom?
it. A wisdom saving throw. Thank you. Maybe a wisdom. Yes.
You'll get there.
15.
You'll get there one day.
One day.
Ooh, that's a 7.
Yeah.
12.
12.
That's an 11. It was a 12, but it's -1 for Jack's wisdom.
And Gideon?
15.
15. Okay. So, I actually want to know from you, Lexicon, you can't throw up. So, what do you think you do when you see something that your mind cannot comprehend?
I think he would just, like, seize up, basically.
Absolutely. You all see Lexicon just kind of... And you do actually topple over, like completely immobile for several seconds. Every single one of you, since you did get over a 10, you don't throw up, but every single one of you, the bile, your hasty breakfast this morning rises up into your throat. The creature beyond you is literally made of organs. He is just, and eats mostly lower intestines. And it is just a writhing mass of organs and intestines and ooze, and you can see that several of the endings of these undulating things have either eyes or teeth. And it says, I think we established that no one here speaks Infernal.
I believe that's correct.
Not I.
Yes. Y'all just hear this. And he goes, of course. Hold your horses one moment. Tercio, you've had your fun, but it's time now. And Tercio flitters up in front of you, Gideon. And he goes, well, it's been nice hanging out with you, Gideon.
Oh, where are you going?
I got work to do. Back at it. And he flies, not at you, Gideon, not at the archivist. He flies straight at Scribbit, who has been hopping behind y'all, or walking strangely behind y'all. And as he does, Scribbit opens his mouth as if he's going to eat Tercio. But for those of us with a few more gray hairs who happen to remember the cinematic masterpiece that was Time Cop, the ending scene where the two time-displaced bad guys met each other, that is what you see. It is Cronenbergian as their flesh and muscle and bone fuse with each other. It is not clean, it is not nice, and it does not look painless. As they just fuse together, and there's bubbling and hissing, and then there's a moment of pause where Scribbit looks exactly the same, and then a arm just shoots out of his back. The arm is bony and is immediately covered in meat and sinew and then skin, and it looks exactly like the other two arms, just strange with the misfacing thumbs and fingers, and it kind of stretches and cracks, and a single third eye grows out of the top of Scribbit and looks around. And for a moment, you swear, Gideon, that even though there's no way for it to really do so, you swear that third eye turns and looks at you and winks. And then he goes, chop, chop, let's get to it. And he turns to all of you and he goes, you are in one of the most holy places of all of the 9 hells. And it's right here in the material plane. What you are looking at, and there is reverence in his voice. What you are looking at is every single contract between a devil and another sentient being. He just lets that sink in for a moment. And as he does, he pulls one off the counter and he hands it to Scribbit. And Scribbit begins hopping towards a small desk that is clearly made for him. It's sized for him. And there are 3 almost like easels on each side. And the center scroll is pushed out. And then he picks up 3 identical pens. And he begins scribbling in identical gestures. And he goes, I'm sure you will not be shocked to hear that occasionally people who make deals with devils are not happy with the terms. Do you find that shocking? Well, it is imperative that the original stay safely here. However, by devil law, we are required to provide an exact copy to the plaintiff, to the prosecutor, and to the impartial judge. And that is where little Scribbit comes in. He does such a good job, because when he's gone, I have to do it. Imagine. And within seconds, Scribbit has copied this very long scroll 3 different ways, and then has rolled them up and is hopping towards this organ devil to hand them over. Before we retire to the table, would anyone like to make a deal? I'm joking. Unless... No, I understand, of course. We have quite the reputation. But we won't mess with any of that right now. After all, we all have our little deals, don't we, Lexicon? He looks at you as you're standing up from your earlier seizure, and he just holds your gaze, even though you have no eyes.
Sorry?
Indeed. I'm sure that you are. I think that the 10 minutes are up, and the creature disappears with the 3 copies, and you hear a Scribbit, and it starts hopping after the archivist, and he walks you all back to the table and says, dinner is served, and there is a hero's feast waiting for you, and at that table are all of your favorite foods. Jack, what do you see at the table?
Jack sees a very large tureen of gnomish vegetable goulash, a specialty of the gnomes in the Sunrise and Sunset Mountains, and a particular favorite of all the Fey Rabbit folk that came over from the Fey Wild and have learned to cook here in the material plane, and it smells absolutely wonderful. Spiced up, a lot of paprika and various other savory spices added in.
Was there someone in your family who would make this?
His mother would make it. His grandmother would make it. Lots of people in the community learned how to make it. And it is a perennial favorite of most everybody in the community.
Well, it looks absolutely delicious, and it looks just as good, if not better, than your memory serves. And Torrent, what does our resident Axolotl cleric see at this table?
So looking at the table, Torrent is surprised to see several foods that were common growing up. It looks like to drink there is mashed bloodworm milk with fisheye pearls, which was a drink that that Torrent, Neridia, and Hydrus would often get when they were out and about in the markets. And then to eat, it looks like there was jellyfish uni pasta, which is a large jellyfish with its tentacles scooped out, mixed in with, it looks like it's a large jellyfish with its tentacles scooped out, mixed with sea urchin gonads and seasonings stirred together and held over a heat vent to steam.
And that smell, how would you think that smells to the other players? I'm just curious.
A little fishy, a little slimy, probably.
Probably not quite what they're expecting, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Now we get to some of the more interesting ones. Lexicon, what do you see at the table?
Well, Lexicon's not really expecting to see anything at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because, warforged don't eat or drink anything. But, however, he seems drawn to a particular spot on the table for some reason. And sitting there is a plate of a plate of chocolates that are in the shape of little fairies, little people with little delicate, webbed wings, maybe 3 inches tall, something like that. And while he doesn't really have any interest in eating them, he knows inside his inner workings that those aren't chocolate-shaped fairies, those are chocolate-coated fairies.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
I like this little lore drop we got just now.
I am fascinated as to what that is. What is the appeal for Lexicon? Fairies suffer?
He holds one up and looks at it curiously and then just sets it back down again.
It's obviously he cannot consume it. Speaking of consume, I would love for you, Gideon, to tell me what we see at the table.
There is an empty plate, and the main dish plate is just completely empty. It almost looks a little dusty. And a side dish plate right next to it has a doorknob, like the whole contraption just sort of sitting there, and a thick key bearing very little resemblance to the plot important key. It looks like it's made with the same metal as the doorknob. Gideon is, after just a moment, put in mind of a memory that is not his own. The last time, it's been a while since I've dug through the beautiful, beautiful Pathfinder wiki article on Mind Flayers, which is where my love of this becoming my favorite D&D monster began. But if I recall, certainly the lore I'm basing this on is that when a Mind Flayer eats someone's brains, they get just little flashes of that person's memory. And Gideon's Gideon hasn't had to do this very often. He does his hunger is not so great. But the fondest time he has ever had a flash of a memory was something very alien to him. And he doesn't relay any of this, but you're getting the flashback as the audience. The memory of a person whose brains he ate, has the first person memory of this person's hand on the doorknob, pushing in the key, pulling the doorknob, and as the door opens, just the very faintest end of the memory is family, is love and affection coming in from that house, that opening the front door to their house was taking them somewhere safe where they were loved and known. And that was the whole memory, just a flash of that emotion, and Gideon recognizes that doorknob.
Now, I am telling you, Lexicon, that your character recognizes precisely what this table is.
Right.
You just your memory banks or whatever is happening tells you this is a hero's feast, and you know precisely what that is for. Is there anyone else here who thinks that they would know what a hero's feast is?
No, Jack wouldn't know what a hero's feast is, but because of being raised on the lore of the Fae, he would definitely not accept food or drink from any type of Fae or devil-like character. He wouldn't accept food from a stranger.
Well, and that is good fairy and fae rules to follow. The archivist walks to the front of the table and spreads his hands out wide, and he says, "All of you have been brought here for a very particular purpose. Each and every one of you," and he pauses, "has failed terribly on the way here. But perhaps you have grown in your journey and are not all miserable failures. So I wanted to have something for you to replenish yourself should you survive." And with that, you all disappear.
And that's the end of the podcast. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's the end. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
We're going to start with the new campaign. No.
Next time I'm going to play a warforged.
Oh, very cool. I'm going to play a bar-forged war. You all find yourself...
Most wars are bar-forged. Somebody got drunk and started a fight.
So, in the place where you just were, in the archives, it was 90% scrolls and like 10% books. Where you are now is 90% books. You are in, anyone who has been in a college, especially library down below, you are in the stacks. And think medieval version of the opening scene of Ghostbusters. You are surrounded by rows and rows of books. And you hear a sound. And a creature comes shambling around the corner, is muttering and cursing and snarling and definitely speaking in Infernal, but you can't quite make it out. But you know what a curse is when you hear one. And its misshapen, horrifying body comes around and looks at all of you. And I'm going to need all of you to pause to do a couple of things. First of all, I hear that you guys made to level 3.
Oh.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Dare, tell me what did it mean for this Jack to make it to level 3?
Jack gets an extra spell at an extra first level spell, and gets some more hit points and gets a nice little talent where he can, if he wants to, create any tool that he needs within an hour.
Very cool. I like that. And Izzy, tell us about Gideon's level to 3.
There was only one subclass that it could possibly be, and it was the psionic themed subclass of rogue. Thank you D&D Wiki for having like all of the subclasses that exist. As a soul knife rogue, Gideon
yes,
can now he has, an extra resource dice, just like any D&D class needs, that lets him have an extra stat bonus X times a day and use psionic whispers, talk to people in their head X times a day. And he can also manifest psionic power as shimmering blades of psychic energy as his attack and bonus attack.
Nice.
You have such fun ahead of you, trust me.
I love this very, very much. And Torrent. What does your leveling mean for Torrent Wobbletail?
So I now know the spell Zone of Truth, which I'm hoping will be helpful in the future. And Channel Divinity Destructive Wrath, which means any thunder and lightning damage I do is max damage with no need to roll. Yeah.
I like that a lot. And last but not least, Lexicon.
Lexicon, being a bard, has taken a school. Now, normally one would, a bard would go to that school to learn those things. But in his case, I think as he entered the scroll and book-filled monstrosity of this archive, something clicked inside, and another section of his internal workings just started spooling up and kind of like whirring to life, and a bunch of just like a knowledge base just sort of kind of like came online, as it were. So he now has the super cool bard skill of Jack of all trades, where he basically gets a half of his proficiency bonus rounded down to all the skills that he doesn't have proficiency in. Plus, whatever applicable skill goes along with it. Plus, he's got a couple extra second level spells now, which will come up in the future. And and he has the cutting words feature now, where he can try and disrupt someone's attack or saving throw or whatever with some choice words at them.
Very, very nice. And I do apologize. I said infernal earlier. This creature is hissing and spitting and speaking to all of you in abyssal. This is a demon. Does anybody understand abyssal?
No.
Not
Come
yet.
back to me when it's deep speech.
Not yet.
Come back to me when you got some deep speech. So I need all of you to roll for initiative.
Oh,
Fun.
I thought it was a friendly demon.
Oh yeah, he's super friendly.
It's not bad. Plus.
He's gonna give us hugs. I can tell by this wonderful picture of this very handsome and upstanding young
There is
gentleman.
one difference: is he is holding a not huge but not small axe in his slightly more hand-like hand.
That's his hugging axe.
Yep. To the listeners at home, this is a rutterkin. Google that at your peril. Gideon, what did you get?
A 7.
7. And Torrent, what did you get?
18.
18. And
Jack
Jack?
got a 24.
4. And Lexicon.
Dirty 20.
Dirty. The dirtiest of 20. Probably I should roll for him as well. So, ooh, that's an interesting number. Jack, this thing is shambling towards you. It's knocking over books. It's cursing. It's spitting. It looks like every step hurts it. But its hurt is nothing compared to its hatred for you as it comes closer. What are you going to do?
How much space is in front and behind of Jack?
You've got a decent amount of space behind you, probably about 15 feet as the stacks go back. He is in a cross section between stacks, so there's a little bit of an opening where he is. He is about maybe 12 feet from you.
How
right
high
now.
are the stacks?
They are tall. They're about 15 feet tall.
Okay, so Jack would like to use his movement to climb the 15 feet to the top of the stacks.
Okay. I would like a quick either athletics or acrobatics, but with your rabbit hop ability, you can do that with advantage.
Okay, with advantage. Excellent.
Makes it much easier. Well, it makes it much easier for you to do that.
That is a 15.
Okay, that will succeed.
So he scrambles up to the top hops up halfway and scrambles to the top of the shelf, levels his squirt gun down and squeezes one of the sheep's stomachs and unloads a blast of Tasha's caustic brew. And
Nice.
It has to make I believe it's a dexterity saving.
Yes.
Okay.
He rolls a 2.
That is 2d4 damage, acid damage. So that is just 4 points of damage, acid damage right now, but that will continue on every...
I think that's a really good opening salvo then, and it hisses and sputters on him, and it's not that it hurts him more like it does more damage, but it hurts him more in that this pathetic creature feels more pain, and he roars and screams, and you are glad you don't speak Abyssal, as it is his misshapen skin models. So that was at the 24. There is a 20 up next, and that is Lexicon.
Yes.
What would you like to do as he hops out of the way?
Lexicon is startled and has no interest in dealing with demonic creatures. He's going to hold up his hand, and the palm of his hand kind of vibrates, almost like a speaker, and he holds it out there, and this like really discordant, awful tone comes out of this, but it's completely focused at this creature, and he casts dissonant whispers at it.
Nice.
So he will need to make a DC 12 Wisdom save.
He gets a 4, coming in hot after that 2. So he fails. So what happens to with his dissonant whisper?
Well, he is going to take some psychic damage, I believe. And we will find out in a second how much that is.
Ooh, 3d6 psychic damage?
Yes.
Is that right? Wow,
Actually,
that's impressive.
It's saying on my chart it's second level or higher. Oh yes, I'm casting this as second level, so it's 4d6.
No, yeah, it is higher with the higher level.
Oh, that's nice.
That is 18 points of psychic damage.
So you have almost destroyed this creature. So tell me, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What is happening when you do so much psychic damage to this creature that it almost destroys it?
Well, let's just say that he, beginner's luck, maybe, I guess, aims it straight into the forehead of this creature. So it just vibrates its skull with this horrible tone and just absolutely just rattles everything inside its skull, and it starts, bleeding from the nose and from the ears and, maybe a little bit from one eye. And he is just absolutely not in a literal sense stunned, but stunned by the attack.
And it almost stumbles over. And that's when something very interesting happens. There is a of almost black shadow from behind this creature, and a thin blade, so thin it seems almost like made out of paper, just stabs right through its back, and it screams, and the blade turns and then slashes out sideways, and just guts and blood and bits of bone fly out sideways as this creature collapses screaming in pathetic pain to the ground. And standing behind it is another creature. And it looks at all of you, and in perfect common tongue, it says, "Thank you." And then it disappears for a moment, and then another of it takes its place, and it grins wickedly at all of you and says, "Prepare to die." And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 12. Great job, everybody.
Wow.
You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die. And I mean that with love. If people would like to see even more of Chafing Armor and see more of wackiness and my goofy cosplays and D&D memes and more, they can go to chafingarmor.com, or they can even better go to patreon.com/chafingarmor, where you can help support us, throw us a few bucks to help keep the lights on. We sure do appreciate it. But have a wonderful evening, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Can't wait for next time.
And until next time, before you are all horribly murdered by this demon, we will scratch that itch for Dungeons and Dragons.